What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got another video doing a tier list. Now, we did one a couple weeks ago, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I've been wanting to do more and more, but I wasn't exactly sure what to do it on, but we finally have a topic here. Today we're doing all of the pot cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pot of Greed, Pot of Duality, Pot of Desires, all of them. We're going to do every single one. We're going to be throwing them into these tiers that I made for you here. And yeah, so hopefully I'll also be able to do more of these coming up. Maybe we could do like competitive tier lists, something like that later on. But for now, we're doing pot cards, all right? So starting off with our tiers, okay? First off, at the top, we have never gonna be legal. Or never gonna be legal, okay? This is just for the pot cards that are so obscenely good, they should be banned and never allowed to be played in legal play. Makes sense. Next up is top tier cleanliness, all right? These are the very, very clean cards that are just like very, very good. Next up is mainly rogue, which means they're the kind of cards that like you're not really going to see ever except for rogue decks. Then you have could come up, I guess, which are the ones that are like very, very specific, you know, to like the situation they'd even be good in, but I guess they could be okay in that situation. And then at the bottom here we have cardboard suck, okay? Like, nobody wants to be cardboard suck, but unfortunately, Konami has not nailed every single pot card they've made. So, we'll get to those as we get to those, but for now, that's what we're rocking with. So, starting off here, let's just go in order, okay? Starting off here, we have Pot of Benevolence. Let's take a look at this real quick. We're going to be referencing my dueling book here because I have all the pot cards up, and in the background, we have this lovely progression series deck. Okay, so Pot of Benevolence, okay? This card says select 2 cards from the graveyard or graveyards, shuffle them into their owner's decks. That's it. After this card is activated, it actually banishes itself instead of going to the graveyard, and it's a hard once per turn. So I actually don't think this one's the worst. It does take stuff out of yours or your opponent's graveyard. So even if you're playing the kind of deck that like, oh, I really want to reset things because my deck doesn't really reset its resources by itself, you could do that. Or if your opponent just has things in their grave that you're like, I don't like my opponent having that, they're going to use that later, boom, shut them, throw them back in the deck. It's not half bad. So Pot of Benevolence, I don't think it's terrible, but I'm still gonna put it in could come up, I guess. I still think relative to 2020 standards, it could be okay in a certain strategy or a certain meta with a lot of graveyard-centric decks and stuff. But I think for our purposes here, today it's going to end up in the fact that it could come up, but I don't think it's quite cardboard suck. Next up, we have Pot of Acquisitive. This is the only quick play on this list, I believe. And this card reads, target 3 banished monsters, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. And it's a quick play, which is interesting. So here's what I think with this card. This one I also don't think is cardboard suck. If it's true too, this card could actually be mainly rogue because all you would need is to kind of play it in a deck that does get its stuff banished fairly easily, and it's actually pretty decent. The downside to it is it only draws 1. I like that it's quick play. I don't really know how much that really matters, but whatever. So I'm going to put this also in the could come up, I guess, pile. I think it's not really quite rogue. I guess it could be okay in a strategy that does want to banish its stuff. And again, like I said, like reset its resources, like Pot of Benevolence, but at least you still get to draw. So I'm going to put it here, not suck, not mainly rogue yet, but we're going to put it there. All right, next up, we're going to move, oh wait, I don't even know what the next one is. The next one is Pot of Avarice, okay? So Pot of Avarice is really tough, okay? Because it's definitely better than could come up, I guess. But my problem here is it really top tier cleanliness or is it mainly rogue? Oh man, it's not a hard once per turn, but it does take decent setup. I'm gonna put it in top tier cleanliness. I get it. No, you know what? I'm putting it mainly rogue. I'm moving it down. I just talk myself into it in my own brain, okay? I think, listen, it draws 2. It's not once per turn, but it takes setup. Like, how many decks, like, if they get hand trapped, are going to be able to put 5 monsters in grave? It's probably not going to be able to happen. Plus, this card gets disrupted by specific things like DD Crow, like Called by the Grave, because if one of the cards, this card has to shuffle back all 5 cards to be able to resolve to draw 2. So if you activate it and it doesn't shuffle as cost, your opponent does something to banish them, one of the 5, just one of them. Then this card won't be able to resolve and you won't draw. So I'm going to put it here because it does have that weakness. It's still a good card. It's just, like, look at it since it came off the ban list. How many like, meta decks has it been played in? We have Zodiacs, which might play this, but other than Zodiacs, like, whatever. And in Zodiac's, Desires is just better. I think Desires in Zodiac is like the preferred pot card over Avarice. You might play them both, but like I think Desires is like the preferred one, to be honest. All right, next up we have this one. I don't even know this one's name. I want to say it's Dichotomy. We'll find him. Hold on. All right, yeah. It's Pot of Dichotomy, okay? This is another one of the weird ones. At the start of your main phase 1, you can target 3 monsters with different types in your graveyard. Shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this. So this one's kind of jank, huh? I mean, like, this card wouldn't be bad, except for a couple things, okay? As, like, really the 2 big things for me. First things first, it has to be activated at the start of main phase 1, which means how many decks can put 3 monsters in the graveyard before your main phase 1? Like none. So you're almost never going to be able to activate this on turn 1, which is a problem. 2, all the monsters have to be different types, so that takes away a good amount of strategies that are kind of type-based, unfortunately. And 3, you lose your battle phase. So not only can you not even activate this on your first turn, usually, but you're also going to have to relinquish your battle phase on your next turn as well. And that's probably around the time where if the duel's going well for you, you'll be wanting to push battle phase. So unfortunately, this one again, this is our first one I think I'm going to put in Cardboard Suck. This is Cardboard Suck right here. Prime example of just sucky cardboard right there. Damn. All right. Then we move to the new pot card. Pot of, what is it, Disparity? I think it's Disparity, right? Oh, no. Ah, nuts. Hold on. What's going on right now? Whatever. I don't even need that. Okay, Pot of Disparity. Where'd I throw it? Okay, so pretty much what this card says is you banish 3 to 6 of your 3 or 6, I should say, from your extra deck. You get to choose which ones. Then you get to look at the top 3 or 6 cards, depending on how many you banish from your extra deck, and then you get to pick 1 card and add it to your hand. I believe it also has some restrictions. Oh, I think Dueling Book's just like down right now. Whatever. That's not the biggest deal. We'll be all right. And it's very, very good. And in my opinion, this is top tier cleanliness. So people have been talking shit about this card when it got revealed. Oh, it's just bad extravagance. Extravagance is a +1. This one's not. Okay, but what about like post-siding? Extravagance, yes, can get you into some of your side deck cards, but it's not guaranteed. This card's look through 6 cards of your deck. Oh, Dark Ruler no more. Oh, Forbidden Droplet. Oh, like Sphere Mode. All these cards that your opponent can't even respond to that are like insane side deck cards that now you're just going to drop on them and they just have to accept it because if they don't negate this, I think this is like a must negate card going second, which is like a problem. Not a problem, but like it's a good thing to have because it's just spells that are baiting negates before you even try and commit to the field. Very, very good card. Don't sleep on it. Next up, we have Pot of Duality. This card says... it's kind of like this, but like worse. So Pot of Duality says you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then add 1 to your hand, but you cannot special summon the turn you use it. And because you can't special summon the turn you use it, I think I'm going to put it up in mainly Rogue. This one's a little more specific than Avarice, I think, just because like the kind of decks you're playing this in are like really mainly only decks that don't summon at all. So like stun strategies, stuff like True Draco, you know what I mean? Like Pacifist, stuff like that. Phantasm Spiral, not Pacifist. Like weird stun strategies like that. But it is good in those, assuming they don't have to special summon. So keep that in mind. I'm going to put it mainly Rogue. I don't think it's quite bad enough to be could come up, I guess. But it's definitely not top tier cleanliness at this point. Next up, we have Pot of Extravagance. This is another really good one. Banish 3 or 6 random cards from your extra deck, then draw 1 or 2 cards, depending on if you did 3 for 1, 6 for 2. And then it has to be activated at the start of your main phase 1. So you don't get to sequence it all that well. With certain stuff, you have to activate it when you can activate it, kind of. But it's still a very good card. It draws 2. We're going to put it in top tier cleanliness. We know this. We've seen something like Dinosaurs play this. Well, they're top tier. I don't know if you heard. So yeah, that's top tier cleanliness right there. Next up, we have Pot of Desires. Let's go. I really like Pot of Desires. I definitely wasn't as big a fan when I first started playing competitively again, but I've come more and more around to it. It's one of those cards. Your opponent wants to negate it because it's going to be a +1 if they don't. It can get you to your side deck cards. It's a scary card for sure. And because of that, I'm going to put it in top tier cleanliness. I think this goes right up here alongside these 3 as these other 2 as like the best pot cards we have to offer in our metagame right now. Which takes us to something else. What do we do now? Hold on. Let me see if I can update it. Let me see if we can get back into this. What's going on? Skip the intro. We're going back in. Okay, here we go. Oh no. Is it not going to connect again? Oh, that's just the worst. Okay, let's do Pot of Greed first anyway, while this is loading. God, Dueling, but you're killing me. Pot of Greed. I don't think we need to really discuss this. Never going to be legal. It never should be legal because it can be potentially looped with specific card effects. So we never want to be able to activate this more than once at a turn. So I don't think they'd ever put it at even one for that matter. So I think we're going to put it here. Never going to be legal. This card should never be playable ever in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. Next up, we have Pot of Riches. Now, Pot of Riches is the pendulum one, and we're just going to do it the hard way here. So let's do it this way. Here we go. Pot of Riches. Here we go. Okay. Pot of Riches says, sorry, it's on the wrong side here, but it says shuffle 3 pendulum monsters into the deck from your graveyard and or face up from your extra deck. Then draw 2 cards. You can only activate it once per turn, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate it except by pendulum summon. So, unfortunately, this card has some tough restrictions on it. I do like its effect generally if it had no other restrictions to it, like do a whole pendulum combo, then at like the end of the combo, or even mid combo if you like got stopped, but you at least had 3 pendulum monsters in the extra deck, just like send them back and draw 2 more and see if you can like extend further. That's still kind of nice. Other than that though, like the pendulum monsters are kind of extenders when they're in the extra deck, that because you're gonna be able to pen summon them out turn after turn. But the restriction is really the tough part. Not being able to special summon at all except for pendulum summon, it's too tough, man. And so I think because of that, this card's going to end up in a bad spot. I'm going to put in Cardboard Suck. I think even a pendulum deck that could use this outside of the fact that you can't special summon in any other way is so rough. I think it's got to be Cardboard Suck. I think they really tried with this one, but they just put that restriction on there and it killed the card. Killed it entirely. And then we have our final card here, Pot of Generosity. Now, this one's just the best. This one is just the best, and we're about to see why. I forgot how suck this card is. All right, this is the only like picture up here. What the heck's going on here? What is going on? Why are these pictures so ugly? All right, here we go. This card says, return 2 cards from your hand to your deck, then shuffle your deck. Why would anybody play this? This is the hardest Cardboard Suck, and honestly, if there was a tier under Cardboard Suck, this would go there, because it's so obscenely terrible. So, that's going to do it for us here, guys. I think just a quick recap here. Obviously, Pot of Greed. It's never going to be legal. Never should be legal. Top tier Cleanliness, we got Disparity, Extravagance, and Desires. Explains themselves, really. They're all really good. Mainly Rogue, I put Avarice and Duality, which means they're pretty good, but they're a little more specific, and they do have some tough restrictions that kind of hurt them. Could come up, I guess. We have Benevolence and Acquisitiveness. Very specific strategies or very specific metagames that could be okay. But other than that, I don't really see them garnering much play. And then the Cardboard Suck. You've got Dichotomy, Riches, and Generosity. They do nothing. They should never be played. I don't care. They're garbage. They're just poo. They're just stinky duty. Okay? But that's going to do it for us here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of my tiers. Do you think I got it right? Do you think I had some things that could shift up? I could see somebody saying Avarice needs to go up. I could see somebody saying Pot of Greed needs to come down, but those are the people that just want Pot of Greed back at any cost. Some people could say Desire should go down as well, potentially, but I feel pretty good about this. I feel like this is right where I want everything to be. So that's gonna do it for me here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this from me in the future. I'll be looking to do more tier stuff. You know, I just gotta come up with like what kind of things I want to do tiers on that I think are cool and fun and interesting, because I love doing the tiers. They're really fun, and they're easy to do, so no complaints from me. But I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and a peace.